T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What do you got to eat? Here, guys. Ooh. What's this say? I don't know. What's that say? I know, but I'm not gonna tell. I think it says it's good.
Conjecture Hoops contains all the presumptions, assumptions, and off-the-wall postulations a growing kid needs. Conjecture Hoops, a big bowl of bullshit. Saturday morning cartoons, mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
Please welcome Max Headshrew, Dell, Aria Blackness, and your most gracious host, Ben Motherfucking Jackson. Applause. Applause. Applause.
There's my Batman T-shirt. Do you like my? This like an unusual. It's like a rare
That's actually
logo
sick.
from like the '90s. It was drawn by I don't know.
Actually,
like,
I thought you had the Batman
Jolie.
symbol tattooed from nip to nip, dude.
somebody.
Yeah, the tail goes all the way down into
Yeah.
your treasure
Well,
chest.
Max has it shaved into his chest hair,
Mm.
but it's exclusively Tim Burton's Batman symbol.
No, it's just a picture of Tim Burton.
Yeah. it's like it's chest hair art, dude.
It just says Tim with a heart on the eye.
You have like just really long chest hairs for where his other like real hair is.
Yeah, just like sprouting out like that, like a little, like a Burton afro.
It's like fucking. It's like Total Recall, but it's Tim Burton.
Quado.
Yeah.
Just Tim Burton hanging off your chest. Consistently talking about circuses and stuff like that.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Oh,
you're drinking a beer already.
Cheers, lads.
Do you guys like the Tim Burton Batman movies?
I love them.
I have a weird relationship with them because I can't tell the difference between just liking them or the nostalgia of it, and it's a bit cloudy in it. I like Jack Nicholson's performance, and I like DeVito's performance as the Penguin, and I maintain that Michelle Pfeiffer is the best Catwoman we've ever had, but they are cheesy as tits.
Yeah, but that's why I like them.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing
it too. You know what I mean? Like I like Evil Dead and shit like that. So of course I like Tim Burton's Batman. However, Tim Burton is not a comic book guy, and he's admitted he is admittedly not a comic book guy. He's like, I don't read fucking comic books, and then he got.
You don't necessarily have to be a comic book guy to sort of transfer it to the screen. I just think it's cheesy by today's movie standards. Do you know what I mean?
It was cheesy by 1989 standards.
Yeah, I watched it.
Well, I see. When I watched it, I think I was 8 when I watched it, and I was like, "This is the best thing I've ever seen."
Yeah,
because I thought it was dark.
See, that's really interesting because like there's a certain quality to Tim Burton films that I think is on purpose, where as a little kid, it seems so legit to you. Like the first time I watched Beetlejuice, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like they have to do everything right. And if they fuck this up, the bad guy is going to win. Like it's so serious. And then you watch Beetlejuice as an adult and you're like, this is fucking campy and goofy as shit. And that's the way I feel about
a guy like me
about Batman.
Yeah, but I think Beetlejuice, because of the like the subject matter, like the campiness works there. Like I don't think Beetlejuice has aged as badly as Batman.
I agree.
There's no new Beetlejuice to like be like, oh, it's the serious Beetlejuice. It's more of a horror.
Yeah.
It's
A dark,
I'm hearing,
a dark,
Just
gritty
goofy.
Beetlejuice.
I'm hearing after Keaton's done he's reprised his cameo as Batman in the new Flash film, which I am really interested in finding out. Have you seen this?
Wait, what?
So have you seen the trailer for the new Flash film?
Yeah.
Are they doing Flashpoint?
Yeah, Flashpoint. Yeah, Keaton's Batman in it.
Wait a minute.
No
Wait a minute. But is he
Yeah.
Thomas? Is he Thomas Wayne Batman?
No, he's the Batman from the 1989 films.
Then I
The
haven't
same
seen,
Batman, and I think
I haven't seen the trailer then.
I love
because I saw I guess a teaser for the Flash. Are you talking the new Flash movie?
yeah.
You know what I'd really like to see?
There's like you don't actually see him, but there's a shot of his cowl, and he narrates it, so he's talking to the Flash. But I think Ben Affleck's Batman's going to be in it as well. They're basically doing the Spider-Man No Way Home, No Way Home thing with DC.
Right, but don't make the mistake of thinking that they got the idea from that movie, because that's based on a comic book series where they literally do that.
I know the Flashpoint thing, and I know they've all been doing it for years. I just think they probably grew the bollocks to do it after seeing Marvel go.
I'm gonna have to read
with Spider-Man.
I don't know if I ever read that whole arc. I think I've just read some issues here and there from it. I think I'm gonna.
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint. I think
It's good, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna legally acquire that book soon and read it. And
they did an animated version of it, and that's pretty good. But there's a lot left out. Yeah,
I think Grifter is in that movie, which is cool because do you guys know who Grifter is?
No.
He's a superhero with like a really cool mask. I'll show you later. But that's very underused. But my favorite aspect of Flashpoint is the one universe where Bruce died and his father became Batman. The same kind of. It was the same kind of like incredibly important moment, like history-altering moment of trauma, but that inspiration, instead of latching onto Bruce, it latched onto Thomas. Like the murderer killed the mom and the kid instead of the dad.
So if you watch, I think it's Batman v Superman. That was his. I think that was Snyder's original concept, was to do the 3 films, wasn't it? And the final one have the alternate version. So he deliberately cast. What was his guy that played the guy that played the comedian in Watchmen?
Fuck.
He cast him as Batman's dad, and the girl from The Walking Dead as Batman's mom, who becomes the Joker. Right, she becomes the Joker in Flashpoint because she goes crazy after she sees her son die.
Right.
So the struggle between the Joker and Batman is like a relationship struggle, which I think was a great idea.
That is a great idea.
It's crazy.
And in this version, Commissioner Gordon's actually a marriage counselor.
It's just all sat on. It's all the whole story's on a couch.
So who's gonna play Thomas Wayne Batman in the Flashpoint movie?
The guy that played the comedian.
Oh, the same guy.
Yeah. Negan, is it? Negan
I like
from
that.
The Walking Dead.
So did you guys like this Bat Patterson movie?
Yes. I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's complicated.
It did. And it was not entirely because Zoe Kravitz was in this movie, but it had a lot to do with it.
I don't know, man. I thought it was all right, but I wasn't super impressed, honestly.
Well,
I was impressed.
Before we get into it, we've got 2 new segments to the show, right?
That's true, actually.
The first one is Nick's segment, at least for today. His ideas, at least for today, he's going to start it off, and it's going to be a rotating thing, and we all bring something new to the table. So we're not just specifically talking about the same old shit every week in, week out.
Because we're all about comic books here.
Yeah.
So Nick, we're all going to share.
And this one's called...
It's a segment. It's basically show and tell, but the only thing you're allowed to show is either a comic book or an action figure.
Or your penis.
You could show your penis.
Who wants cornflakes? I'm having Raisin Bran. Choco Puffs for me.
Choco Puffs for me, dude.
That's why you want me to have cereal. Boom. Swamp Dogs. This is what's for breakfast. So to be fair, this is actually issue number 2. I didn't read issue number 1. I don't really care. This comic was.
Let me see the cover one more time.
Yeah, dude. I mean, obviously, this is why I picked it up.
So hot chicks in booty shorts.
Yeah,
getting a suntan.
That's some good artwork as well, man.
Yes, it really is. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
this is artwork that's pretty similar to mine. So
yeah, he draws women's buttocks similar to you.
Yes, yes, he does.
We walk into the comic store and immediately like and he goes straight to the.
I was like, oh, thank you. Artwork, vastly superior to the storyline. I did some reviewing on like some research on this, and people were like raving about this comic book. I personally did not like it that much. It was not bad, but the way it was written felt a lot like it was written by somebody who has imagined the way things are, but I'm just realizing how dirty my hands still are. But hasn't actually experienced a lot of things. Maybe they have, maybe they haven't. But just the way that it's written, like, so the premise basically follows this band. Like it's like they seem to me to be like a heavy metal or like a rock band, and they're based in, I'm assuming, Louisiana, because that's where this comic is taking place. And like it kind of goes through the whole like, oh, this is fucking Tommy in the band, or I don't know what the fucking name was. And it's just like, oh, he's like got these very specific character traits, and just like, oh, it's all quirky and we're all weird. We're in a band. We're going to go shoot a music video. I'm like, this is not what being in a band is like. This is not what being in a band is like at all. And then there's another portion of the book where this gal right here, I can't remember her name. She's in the band, but she's not. She's like, oh, I'm just not going to be there for the shoot. I'm going to be in a swamp instead with this lesbian partner that I met.
What musical instrument does she play?
Oh, I don't know. Or she's somebody's girlfriend or something. I don't know. She's like, they're like on a fucking like a pontoon boat in a swamp. Like that's romantic. And
that's
like,
sexy as fuck.
I'm like, no. Nobody in Louisiana is going on a romantic date on a swamp. And like,
how do you get a pontoon on the swamp?
Well, dude, I don't know. That shit's hard. But then they go like swimming in the swamp. And I'm like, have you been?
That's super sexy, dude.
No, it's not sexy. It's super weird. I'm like,
it's water, right? Water means bikini.
But it turns out the redeeming quality about this comic book is I had no idea about it when I went into it. So I was like, is this a fucking like a music comic book? Is this like a weird Scott Pilgrim knockoff? Like, what the fuck is this? Turns out it's a horror comic. So
of course it's a horror comic.
The last like 3 pages, I was like, tight. People died.
Show us the interiors. Open that bitch
up. Yeah, absolutely. I will
spread them cheeks, man.
I am going to spread those cheeks. Damn, maybe that should have named this segment. Spread those cheeks.
Spread the cheeks.
Cover art, much better than the interior art, but the interior art did not disappoint that bad.
Same artist.
It's good. Like it's well done.
Is it the same artist?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, it's not bad. But you know, I'm always like
what's the horror of it?
The horror of it is there's a little bit of like a weird like.
Is it turned into like a slasher?
It's a supernatural thing.
Okay.
So you'll see here like fucking. They turn around 1 minute and then there's like these weird fucking undead dudes.
Ah, nice.
I like that.
And the horror stuff looks good too. So like I said, artwork 8 out of 10. Storyline, at least through this book, probably about a 4.
See, this is why you
yeah, there's a little bit of, that's the last bit of the book. But
sorry about
it's
that.
That's
I don't
cool.
know. It's cool.
See, this is why you shouldn't. This is why they say write what you know. You know.
Yes.
Like somebody had the idea of like
lesbians in the swamp.
Of like jerking off to lesbians, and he thought the swamps of Louisiana would be an interesting setting for this vignette.
Yeah.
No.
Dude, this cover art is fucking sick.
Yeah, it's not. Oh, I'm gonna mention very, very quickly 2 issues of something that don't suck at all. Motherfucking
Dude.
Berserker, baby.
Oh, is it good?
It's
So
fucking
good.
I bought the first volume, which is the first 5 issues, and dude, I'm like not disappointed.
Is it similar at all to John Wick?
If John Wick had superpowers.
Yeah, and if John Wick
okay.
didn't give a fuck about accuracy.
Yeah.
See,
They're
that's
on about making a film of that now, aren't they?
Imagine.
Oh, dude,
imagine,
they need to. They
imagine.
down, dude.
Imagine if
the
John
film
Wick,
of Berserker they're gonna do.
No, that's Keanu's plan. So he created the IP because he wanted to direct a movie with his own IP. But I mean, there's a chance, like if you look at the character,
if this becomes a movie.
mean, he looks a lot like Keanu.
It's Keanu.
It's basically Keanu. Yeah, Berserker's the satire of Berserker, right?
If that book is good or not, for me, hinges on one aspect, because like if you could take a Keanu Reeves action story and obviously draw it in sequential art, but that wouldn't be a comic book I'd want to own. But if he's an actual superhero with superpowers that belongs in the comic book, then I'm into it.
How about the power of regeneration and pulling someone's still beating heart out of their chest and eating it in front of their child?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's very gory. It's very. I mean, I like shit like that. It's like
I kept waiting for that to happen in the Batman, and just never did it. So
Yeah, this
it's a noir film, not a horror.
But yeah, so fucking imagine if it were John Wick, but he's as old as humanity and has like
There's a lot
like
of
Wolverine's regeneration powers and is like a super fucking like warrior.
There's a lot of
sick,
there's a lot of biblical mythos in it too. There's like a part where he grabs like a jawbone of like one of the horses and just starts fucking people up.
I
with it.
understand. There's like he's really old, but he doesn't remember his past lives or something like that. I'm very intrigued.
He has perfect memory. He has
Perfect memory.
but there's
Total
certain
recall
that he doesn't remember. But that's part of the plot is that he's now working for this organization that are stimulating his memories in order to find out exactly where his origin is, so that they can replicate him.
Sounds like someone read Wolverine. What is that book called? Not Origins, but what's the one? You know the one.
Yeah, no, this is better than that book though.
Right. But I was gonna say like it sounds like someone read that story and was like, okay, this is interesting, but you know what would have been even cooler?
Yes.
If it were Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, if it was Keanu Reeves and this dude came from some like caveman civilization before when it was like people are nomads and shit.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's badass.
Swamp Dogs, not great. Berserker, amazing.
Would you recommend one or neither or both?
I think I'm going to recommend Swamp Dogs because it got good in the last like 2.5 pages. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the next issue has, which hasn't been released yet, which is rare for me because usually I'm super late to the party.
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
Okay.
Swamp Dogs, definitely Berserker.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a hands down.
Definitely Berserker. This is probably one of the best comic series that I've read in the last couple of years.
Hands down. I'm like really into it right now.
It sounds like a better Weapon X, and Weapon X is already a kick-ass book.
Yeah, it is. It's got kind of like if you like Weapon X, you'll like Berserker for sure.
It's paced really well too. Yeah. Like there's a lot of just like absolute destruction and like ripping people's fucking face off. And then like, why don't you have a seat here, Keanu? We're going to talk about your penis.
All right, now it's time. I think now it's time for Max to
Max's segment also new.
Do his daily, his daily deposit.
That is one big pile of shit.
So tell us why the Batman is a pile of shit.
I'll tell you about the pile of shit that is. I'm not a hater. The opening of that film's pretty good, right? But it promises so many things that it fucking doesn't deliver on. What, like Dal said earlier, right? It's a noir film, not a horror. That can be the same thing, man. Like, yeah, man, yeah, and I'll prove why, right? The main crux of what the Batman was supposed to be based on was the film Seven, which is a noir and a horror, right? Now, the best part of what I don't want to hear is it was a 15 or it was a 12, so they couldn't get away with that shit. That is a shit excuse because it's all in the execution. The best bit, the bit that you remember about 7, right, is the bit at the end where his wife's head is in the box. You never see the head in the box. You never see her get her head chopped off. You never see any of the blood or the gore. You just know what's in the box. And that's all you need. You don't get any of that in the Batman. Like, half of the film has got that context and aesthetic to it. And it's really, really good. It draws you in. But it draws you into like fuck all. Like nothing happens. Like you get into the to this 7 universe, and then by the end of the film, I'm watching The Dark Knight Rises again, or whatever other Batman film there is where there's an explosion in a stadium somewhere for no fucking reason. That film should have ended an hour earlier. Like you did all that explosion stuff and the bit where they were all dressing up as the Riddler. That was super crowbarred in, man. None of that needed to happen. Like, we didn't see any build up to it. You didn't see anything about the Riddler that, like, orchestrated the fact that people, that he built up this following and that people were, like, that enamored with him that they get dressed up. Anyway.
I agree with you.
The main issue I had with it was that, although, I mean, I can nitpick and stuff about that. I've had this suspicion for a while about the Batman, and that is what percentage does the suit is the suit responsible for the performance of the Batman? Because whoever you have, you sort of have a decent suit, and it adds this like air of like intensity and intimidation just in the suit. And I'm starting to feel like you can have pretty much anyone in it as long as they've got like a sort of a dark, sullen voice. Although I didn't mind Patterson as the Batman, I wasn't like I thought he was a good Batman, but
I thought he was a great Batman, but a pretty shitty Bruce Wayne.
He was a terrible Bruce Wayne, and the reason why he was a terrible Bruce Wayne is because he was the Batman as Bruce Wayne. And when you're the Batman as Bruce Wayne, the window into the humanity of Batman is closed, and I don't care about you then. I was like watching it. I was like, this is cool. And some of the scenes look cool and they're gritty. And I'm like sort of into it. But like, I just don't give a shit about it. I just don't care about the character. And I was like, why is that? And then at the end, I was like, oh yeah, it's because he's the same guy. At least with like Bale's Batman, when you see him as Bruce Wayne, he's like, they go through this, through the 3 movies, especially in the first one. Like they go through this rigmarole of him, like painfully pretending, like, and he hates doing it. He's like painfully pretending that he's a playboy, right. So people think he's a wanker, so no one would think that he would be the Batman. Yeah,
and that's something I hated about Batman is him being that playboy. I hate that shit. Like it's just
well, he doesn't have to be. Listen. He doesn't have to be a playboy. He just has to be different to Batman.
But the thing
he has to be human and then Batman. You can't be 2 Batman. Anyway, that's my big. I've got loads of other shit that I could say, but
but that's funny. There's a lot.
50% a good movie.
There's a lot to talk about there, and I'm glad you brought up the playboy Christian Bale Bruce Wayne because, you know, like it or not, that really fits in thematically with that trilogy because those movies are all about the self-sacrifice of Batman for the good of the city because he doesn't even need to be respected or loved as long as he's doing what's going to have the best result. He doesn't even mind if everyone hates him or if everyone dislikes him. I failed to see what the theme, the emotive theme in the Pattinson Batman was, and I would say further that, like everything that I saw in anticipation of this movie, like you said, wrote a check that it didn't deliver. I was expecting the Riddler to be like a really horrifying, like murderer, torturer, like terrifying character, and he really wasn't. Like he killed a couple of people here and there, but it was pretty straightforward. The riddles were retardedly easy.
What?
Like, yeah, they were, dude. And okay, and even if you don't think so,
that was just too smart, dude. I'm just like something dumb.
The Riddler, okay. The Riddler wasn't scary. The Riddler dead ass was not scary.
This Riddler's never been scary to me.
Yeah, but that was like everything before this movie. Every trailer, every piece of like concept art was like.
Listen. So the concept of the Riddler, right? That might not have been scary to you before, but like the time that we're in now, the time of media that we're in now, like the sort of character he is probably dictates in a gritty Batman film that the existence of someone like the Riddler, who's basically Saw but a genius, should be scary, right? Especially in a film that's like got its gritty basis in Seven, and that's how they're pushing the film. Like I feel like I don't think surely I don't think it's an easy thing to do because I couldn't be an actor, right? But I feel like ever since Jack Nicholson did the Joker, every actor, or at least most actors that play Batman villains after that, sort of approach every other villain in sort of the same way. Like everyone's got to like be sort of a little bit campy and laugh their tits off a little. And I don't know if that's the influence from the old Batman series from the 60s, but you see at the end of this film, the Riddler basically sort of becomes the Joker. He starts laughing maniacally in his cell, and then he meets the actual Joker, who starts laughing maniacally with him.
So they're like the same person.
Yeah, and like that was annoying to me because I thought that was too campy for the.
What?
I thought that was too campy. I thought that was too campy for the feel of the film, right?
I got
if you go
one.
To 7, and also I don't want to see another Joker. But there's so many people, there's so many dudes in the Batman mythos that you could use. I'm fucking sick of seeing the con. I don't want to see him anymore.
What I was the most excited about going into this movie was that they were going to do a makeover for a villain that's been underutilized for most of Batman's history. It was a genius play if they would have done a better job, because like the Joker, Catwoman, like these villains have been done to death. Everyone knows the Riddler. It's not like you're pulling out like a deep cut. Everyone knows the Riddler, but he's not that interesting. Like he gives you riddles and then you punch him in the face when you solve them. What? So like to make him like a darker, more nefarious, more dangerous kind of Riddler.
Yes, why are we talking about how he's supposed to be scary? Like I don't get. I
was into it.
They would have made him too scary. I'd be like, what the fuck? That's not the Riddler.
I honestly,
I
have
Del,
you have to agree with Del.
And Riddler's fucking jokes. If like I don't know, y'all are like amping these motherfuckers up. They all suck.
I think
they're just clever. They're like dad jokes.
Yeah, but they want the intellectual stimulation.
Dude, no, this is Batman, bro. It's Batman.
No. Listen.
It wasn't my idea to make him scary. It was the fucking costume designer. And
Matt Reeves, though. Do you want them to go campy? Do we want them to go really, really campy?
The costume
I want them to go. I want them to cash the checks that they've said.
They're not going to do that.
They said this film.
Parts like okay, like
listen. To push this film, like the director said continuously, this film is inspired heavily by Seven. It's also the darkest and grittiest Batman film that you'll ever see, right?
It is.
And it's about a serial killer, right? So
it was.
You're going to have those three things and then go, but the serial killer's campy as fuck. Well, that doesn't make any sense, does it?
Though. It was the thing is like you guys like you want them
at
to
the
go,
end
like,
he was at the end
another friend. Like what?
All right. We won't interrupt you. Tell me why this is a good movie.
Is that me or Nick?
Hey, listen, I really enjoyed the opening scene of that film. I thought the part where he was talking about hiding in the shadows was great. I thought the part where they're all looking into like the dark corridors and stuff, and they were afraid to go in. The scene where he beats up the clowns and stops Asian hate was pretty good. I liked Colin Farrell.
This Batmobile ever.
Yeah. The Batmobile was good. I thought Colin Farrell as the Penguin was good. I just thought there was like
2 minutes.
No, that's my segment's 2 minutes. His is however long he wants.
Oh, okay. Then I didn't know that.
No, it's fine.
Here, like, dude, we're just
I didn't hate the movie.
You're gonna let us watch shit this movie for 30 minutes? Is this?
I think we made it pretty clear. Like
Yeah,
Matt did a
it's
great
been-
job
we-
of
yeah,
explaining what was wrong with this movie, and I interjected a little bit of my own thoughts.
No,
So
you go ahead.
I think we gotta let Del. Del's been controlling himself.
Oh, no.
No, I'm good. You guys.
Well said, sir. By the way.
Fucking hell.
I just feel like too many people have just amped it too much that they forget. This is what happened with Star Wars. People just like thought they knew it so much to the point when they shitted on it, they like shitted on it so bad that they were just like, fuck what the fans think. And I feel like Batman's moving in that direction where this movie wasn't a fuck what the fans think. It was like, hey man, we can't deliver it all the way. We're gonna try our best to freaking do it. Obviously, they're trying to make money. It's a movie.
Yeah.
So they're gonna be like, hey, this is gonna be the grittiest.
Listen.
It is the grittiest Batman we've seen yet.
Yeah, but
There's
listen.
no other Batman was grittier than this. Okay, it didn't go how like you want. It's not as good as any horror gritty movie that you can put XYZ.
Do you think this was a really nuanced
Yes, it's the grittiest.
and
Name
well
a grittier
thought
Batman
out
in
story?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Name a
It's the
grittier
greatest
Batman.
Batman, but it still didn't commit. It still
Okay,
didn't
yeah,
commit.
it did it.
And
People
it
gotta make
suffered
money.
from.
It's Batman. Like I think everybody
No,
forgets.
listen. I don't think you're understanding my criticism. I'm not saying that the guy that wrote it didn't. I'm saying all of those reasons for not being able to commit are bullshit. I think executives got involved. Like clearly, executives got involved in the last quarter. Because that was totally, it felt totally crowbarred in compared to the rest of the film. Now, whatever the reasons are, like we can never really know them, right? But I am criticizing the product of what all of those reasons went into. I don't care what the reasons are. Like it should have been better. It should have been. And it could have been better. It could have been executed better. Could have been
expectations were up here. My expectations.
No, they weren't. They weren't though.
I know what they can deliver.
They weren't. My expectations weren't up here. No, they weren't. They weren't up here.
It's not that our expectations were really high. It's that.
Yes, they were. They were high.
No.
The product they were selling this product.
Look. Okay.
It's simpler than that.
Let me give you an example of some poor writing in it that it doesn't require you to have expectations sky high to be disappointed. So the part where Falcone, there's two. So I'm eating my chicken strips. There's two story elements. At least two story elements in the film that if you removed would make absolutely no difference to the film. One of them was the attempt at injecting drama into the relationship between Catwoman and Falcone by her stating that he was her father, and none of that needed to happen. It was totally inconsequential to their relationship. All you would have had to do is just remove the dialogue where she calls him dad. Fucking totally retarded. And the other one was where Falcone told Batman, your dad was a piece of shit, and he came to me and he asked me to kill this guy, so I killed him for him. Then he immediately goes to Alfred, who says, oh no, he was lying. There was just no point to any of that. It didn't lead anywhere. There was no character arc to any of it. Like if you took all of that out, all of that time out and replaced it with something a lot like more character building for Bruce Wayne.
I had to add in dialogue that wasn't in the movie in order to understand like the emotional like arc
I was just about to say the reason why they did that is because of what Ben has mentioned before about why he doesn't like movies is because they don't have the time to create the emotional pull for the character. So they try to do it in 2 sentences. We're like, he's my father. And he's like, oh, well, I was just kind of jealous. I thought you were fucking him. It's like, all right, I will say that,
which is weird because it's like a fucking 3-hour movie. And
there's shorter movies that pull you in harder,
really like this movie, but I will say that there are some things in this film thematically that are overarching, like across like the main male characters, being Batman and Riddler, is that they demonstrated a lot of like what you could with the Riddler specifically, a lot of like incel behavior and fucking and Batman being like really weird and controlling and jealous of Catwoman when immediately, like fucking, he's jealous of her relationship with Falcon. He's like, oh, you have a relationship with him? Oh, you know? Oh, well, what kind?
And by the way, she's a sex worker, right?
You know what I mean?
How about you don't catch feelings for a fucking sex worker? Like,
there's nothing wrong with catching feelings for a sex worker. Let's not shit on sex workers.
Okay, but you can, if you're gonna do that, you can't be like a jealous guy though. Like,
well, I mean, he's crossing. He's being unprofessional. That's the thing. He's like, you are working for me, and you have my technology in your face, and you're gonna go recon for me. And while she's doing her thing, he can't be like, well, you didn't tell me you had a relationship. Like, who fucking? That'd be like your boss being like, oh, you didn't tell me you had a girlfriend.
No, you're right, dude. It's not professional because, like, are they doing a mission together, or are they on a date?
I like this.
You know what I mean?
But I think that was like an executive writer injection thing where they're like, oh, we got to kind of tap on some certain things. But like, did you notice the part where they were talking about the Riddler? Like, oh my God, he's got like 500 followers. I was like, 500 followers? This motherfucker's not an influencer. What the fuck I thought,
about? That's
like,
a good point.
But what that is like a fucking touch on the QAnon shit that was going on during the elections, where they're like, oh, all these crazy super alt-right like subcults, like no, I'm serious, dude. They were talking about like fucking forums online. They're like, these are super dangerous. These like right-wing extremists that are hanging out in forums on the internet, on Reddit and shit, or 4chan or whatever. And they're like, see how dangerous it is just to have people with similar thinking on the internet. They could all put on the same fucking stupid fucking mask and go murder you with bolt action rifles because that's effective. Like, dude, I was like, come on, man, that was a really weak like background buildup. Like, they're like, oh, he had 500 followers. And he was
I wish,
yeah, like that's
a far right extremist put on Batman masks and.
I agree with that, and I think it was misplaced in the film. I think the film should have ended quieter. Like, I think the noir side of it promised a quieter end. You like in a noir film, you don't have those explosions. I think Del, like my expectation for the film was just for the for something. It wasn't a high expectation. It was just for something different, and I got annoyed because I was like, oh, I'm watching the same film again. I'm not watching a Batman film become a noir film. I'm watching a noir film become a Batman film. And I've seen the Batman film 10 fucking times and I'm bored. Like, I'm dead bored. So when it stopped, that's why I like the introduction so much. And just as the film carried on, I was like, I can see where this is going. This is going to the same place as all the others. Big boom, big
Max,
explosion.
You're dadding the film, dude. You're not mad. You're just disappointed.
Yeah, dude.
I am. Yeah, I am disappointed.
I don't dad shit like
that.
So
much potential.
I like that you care about it so much.
Yeah.
But
if I had been primed,
I wanted to know what my expectations, like he was talking about down here. Now,
mine were fucking...
I chose to be entertained because I wanted to be there. But you are not wrong with your points. Your points are valid and correct, and I agree with you. However, there's a couple other things about the movie that I really enjoy that have nothing to do with plot or acting or anything.
And that are way better than the other Batmans.
One more thing. Okay, then. Let me ask your opinion.
Super hard, dude.
Fuck all the other bat suits. That's the best bat suit.
That bat suit was fucking fuck. I love that.
Fuck the other Batmobile.
Okay, I agree.
I really liked the Batmobile.
I fucking hate the bat suit.
I liked the bat suit, but I mean, it's year 2 Batman. But there's a couple things. There's a couple things.
Operators fuck.
Yeah, there's a couple things in the movie that I thought maybe could air to maybe.
What did you think of the wingsuit?
But that's the thing. I liked it. I thought that was okay. That's an interesting play because that's probably what somebody would do who hasn't had the time or the resources to develop an actual fucking like wing.
The fuck is this?
Because that's heavy as shit. You're not running around.
I know, but like
I actually prefer it because when I see Batman with wings out to here gliding,
like you're not running around.
That's not real. Like that doesn't happen. You can't fit those fucking wings.
So listen, if he's not abseiling with his or whatever it's called, air surfing with his cape, why has he got a cape?
He used it in the film.
It's ballistic.
Did he?
Yeah.
What?
He was one of the fights and stuff. He kind of used it. Like I remember when I used to play Arkham Asylum. You do this thing where you would stun your enemies with the fucking cape. And he kind of did this. He threw it up in the air, and it kind of like got the guy like couldn't see. And then he does
get dragged by it as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, if he wouldn't have had the cape, then everybody would have been bitching about him not having the cape.
Yeah, that's true. Also,
and then it's a tactical fucking like it's.
I don't think.
I can put that suit on and do like operational shit like I like normally do on a day to day. Like
a cape,
easy.
But
it's
a cape turning into wings and allowing you to fly, I don't buy that shit for a second. But actually having the wingsuit,
yes, yeah,
I like that because that is way to actually fly. So
unless Lucius Fox is back there creating some crazy fuck technology for him, I'm not gonna believe it. Like, if Lucius Fox is not in here, or somebody's creating gadgets for this motherfucker,
right? But in this arc, Lucius Fox isn't involved yet.
Yes,
like that's the thing is Bruce Wayne is making all of his own shit.
I love that.
I get your point, but I didn't aesthetically. I didn't like the wingsuit.
Okay,
I would just preferred it if it just done the flying thing. I don't care. My suspension of disbelief for Batman is enough, so I can think, oh, he glides. Like, I don't.
Well,
mind.
I think that maybe with this Batman, they were trying to lean more towards like, what would somebody actually be able to do?
Yeah.
I like that.
Having
they did that. This is my worry with it. Like,
former fucking Batmobile that turns into a motorcycle and explodes. Like that shit's cool. But that's not gonna fucking happen. But if you take somebody who's like, I can pretty much make this insane V8 fucking Challenger. I can do that.
If you want to do the ultimate realistic Batman, just have a bloke run out in some bin bags and get shot in the head immediately, and then the film ends.
Yeah,
how realistic? You know what I mean? There has to be some.
But just from a design standpoint, like just isn't like somebody who appreciates mechanical design and costume design and stuff like that. Like I thought that the Batsuit was fucking cool. I thought the Batmobile and the fucking although I thought it was a little goofy that his bike that he's riding, that's like a CB450. Yeah. That's like a severely underpowered motorcycle.
Oh really?
Cool.
Yeah, it does look
but Catwoman is riding like a $35,000. It's a BMW R9T. It's a fucking rad bike, but it's
that's sex.
She's living in a shitty apartment with one other chick, and she can't afford she's got cat food shit all over the place. I was like, that's not a person who has a $30,000.
Well, maybe she stole that motorcycle.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah. But it's a bitchin' bike. But the vehicles were really fucking cool. The costumes design was really good. I also just the way it was shot. I thought was really good. Like plot and like acting aside, there was a lot of good stuff.
If I had just pretty good. The acting was fine. If I had just been primed to just see another Batman movie, I would have loved this movie. But I was primed.
That's what you should have went in.
But I was primed.
Yeah, what were you thinking? Come
on,
guys.
Done this. They were pushing it as a dark, grittier version of Batman that was based on Seven.
You are
Batman. It's not Spawn.
I'm going to tell you what I was thinking, and I'm going to tell you why.
These people are lying to us.
It doesn't have to be Spawn or Deadpool. You just have to have good writing.
Nicholas. Because Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson and Colin Farrell and Paul Dano have been telling me. Why did I think something else? Because they've been telling me.
They're lying.
They do that with every movie.
They've been telling me for months. This is the most intellectually stimulating. This is the most.
Yeah, well, my ex-girlfriend
psychologically.
They said it was a cross between Seven and Chinatown.
And then it wasn't. It wasn't a combination of Seven and Chinatown and Zodiac. It wasn't. And I was point blank.
No, it's the Batman version. If you think they're gonna take it to the level of Zodiac, you're fucking.
You literally just asked me.
You don't have to.
Why did you expect?
They did it.
Why did you
expect? I would have really liked
Seven
it
in Chinatown because they literally told me to.
Yeah,
that's.
I don't believe shit I hear on the news. I don't believe
it was interviews with them. That's how they were pushing the film. Like
No,
when you
now,
say,
if it had been,
Del, when you say you don't think it would reach, when you say you don't think it could reach the level of Seven Chinatown, what is it that you mean?
It means there's too many executives involved in this shit. For Batman's just too big of an IP to be involved in that shit. Like it won't go there. It won't go there.
And that's my view as well.
Yeah. So I don't know why everybody's
and what I'm saying to you is I am displeased with the idea that Batman is always going to be the same forever, and it's never going to be different. And you're saying you're happy with it.
No, I mean,
you're saying you're happy to see the same film over and over again.
I have a more nuanced
and I don't want to see
than either of you.
As far as film goes, yes, I'm more of a heavy comic book reader when it comes to like Batman. If they want to take Batman there in a comic book, which they kind of have, like I'm good. But like people are just so involved. Like I agree. I said this on the podcast before. My idea of what Batman is and who he is through and through is Batman the animated series. So all this other stuff that people get from the comic books, I'm like, cool, man, they took it there. But to me, I'm gonna go back to animated series Batman. I'm gonna fuck how great these comics are. Batman the animated series is the best Batman of all time. So when I watch this movie, the Batman, I'm like, hey, like you guys got close, but you weren't there. You know what I'm saying? It's like I think a lot of people just like maybe it's because now they're better writers than me. Maybe they're more intelligent than I am. Like I scored the lowest score possible to get me movie. So like I'm an easy guy to please. And I like to hang around guys that are smarter than me, like you and Ben and Nick.
That's why he never hangs out with me.
But like you guys definitely bring out certain people. I'm like, yeah, but like I'm not looking for that. Like, if I wanted to, and I'd go read any of the Batman graphic novels, even like the most campy one is a lot more.
Yeah. Well, I'm the opposite. Like I've read a few Batman comics, but I watch the films really. Big Brother says Bond has been the same film over and over for 60 years. Yeah, and most of them are shit.
Yeah, there you go. See, like Big Buddha.
And most of them are shit. Do you know Batman to be Bond?
I know it's another Bond film. We got another Bond.
Everything's just going to be the same for 60 years.
Was really good.
So I mean, I
can't believe you're arguing that.
I agree with both of you. Like, I agree that Max and Ben, it should and could have been.
They're definitely right.
Written better. What I think I loved it. What I think I would like to see eventually with the Batman series is they do a 3-film arc with one fucking villain. Yeah. You can't do a fucking villain origin to climax in one fucking film.
Yeah,
you can't do it. The only one that's been able to kind of do it is fucking The Dark Knight. That's it. And but it's Heath Ledger's performance. That's the only reason. Well,
the third one was supposed to be a continuation.
Right. But
Del, I can't. I'm not having you say it's got anything to do with intelligence. It's nothing to do with that. I don't think you're less intelligent. I just think it's an interesting conversation to have.
Let them talk.
Because we're just looking at it from different aspects. Obviously, I'm like a mega film buff, aren't I? So every time I sit down and watch a movie, I'm ultra critical because I want something different every time. Like before I started watching films in this manner, I would probably annoy me. But I don't think it's got anything to do with intelligence.
Could you imagine, like, could you imagine Max now talking to like himself as an 8-year-old? He's like, your fucking taste is trash, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Big Buddha down there. I've actually known him for over 20 years. Right, we went to which of the shit Bond films? Shut up, Buddha. There are loads of shit Bond films. The last one was shit.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not even gonna prove this.
Every Roger Moore one is shit.
I don't even think that the Batman was a bad movie. Actually,
no, I don't either. But
I'll tell you what else.
The same was a load of shit. That's why I'm confused right now. I'm just like, what?
Hold on. I'll tell you something though.
I love how the mask went away when you took the drink.
If you I actually don't feel the same way that Max feels. You could make the same Batman the same way every 5 years for the rest of my life, and I'm here for it. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm into that. I love that. I don't have a problem with that. It's just that I was expecting something else.
Right.
And when you ask me why, because I was told to. You know what I mean? I was told a different movie than the movie that I saw. That's what.
We told we were going to get better gas prices and we were going to build back better, but hey.
Yeah, but you can't. How deep does that sort of pessimism go? Do you know? Do I watch a trailer and then when I actually go and see the film, there's no one in the film from the trailer?
It's a poorly written movie.
I shouldn't have believed it because everyone's
the right movie.
Yeah.
It's a poorly written movie with a promise of detective level stuff, but it again was okay.
They'll put scenes. They'll put.
That's right.
A really good example is, do you remember when Predators came out years ago?
Wait, what?
Yes.
The sequel to Predator 2, I think Predators.
Oh yeah. Alien versus Predator.
No, Predators.
No, it's just Predators plural, and they drop them all on the planet, and then they're being hunted by predators. There's like multiple predators on a.
It's a good movie, yeah. There's people surviving on a planet.
So in the trailer, they lie to you about the film because in the trailer, there's at the very end of the trailer, the money shot is the guy's standing there like that, and you see the predator laser appear on his chest. Then another one, then another one, then another one, and then loads of them, and his chest is full. Well, that's not in the movie. Like they just made that scene for the trailer.
Well, I mean, to be fair, fucking a lot of scenes get cut out.
The scenes in the movie, but there's only one. There's only one predator that puts the laser on him. So it was a total fabrication of what was going on.
Yeah. It's more than they just cut the scene from the movie, Nick.
Yeah,
they
didn't go that far with the Batman.
So what you're
no.
Is it more like a creation of unrealistic expectations type of deal?
I'm saying
they're not unrealistic.
Shit that ain't that when you go
unrealistic compared to the final product.
They're not unrealistic. They just don't match.
I'll agree with you that I feel like they pitched the film to make a lot of people like yourself and Ben believe that it was going to be something else. But the part is like I'm kind of trying. I feel like y'all are seasoned enough to know that that's what they were doing.
But they're also seasoned enough to be totally justified in being upset that they didn't get what they were promised.
There we go. Yeah, I'll throw that in there too because we're all adults here. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's like I don't know. Don't believe what they tell you in the news, kids. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but
I'm probably gonna enjoy
to this kind of disappointment.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're me and Nick are kind of used to this one now.
But I'll tell you what,
you're gonna see the world.
There's probably there's gonna be a second movie in this franchise, I'm sure, and I think I'll enjoy that movie more because now I know what it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you will. Yeah, I understand, Max. I kind of get what you're saying, man. Like when I looked at the recruitment videos, they show all these guys doing these cool things, and it's not that cool and sexy when you actually get to do it. You're just like, this sucks.
It's all right. I'm not that upset.
It's still cool, but it's not as sexy as you thought it was.
It sucks too.
That is kind of a funny analogy, like comparing a movie trailer to
a recruit video.
Recruiting videos.
Yeah, they don't show you all the shit that sucks.
Yeah.
So do me a favor then.
Like in bits and pieces.
We're not going to include. Oh well, you can include, including Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, right? And the Tim Burton ones and the Nolan ones. In what order do these go as far as quality for you?
They're all equally horrible, but they're so. I
want you to put them in a personal order.
Oh, as far as like how well I enjoy them, just on a personal basis.
Not on quality or anything, just as what you like.
I like the 1989 Batman film the best of Tim Burton's Batmans, just because it was one of the earlier exposures of Batman to me. Like my probably earliest exposure to Batman that I really held on to was was Batman the Animated Series. But then obviously I was exposed to the Batman films from 1989 when I was a kid, and they worked for me when I was a kid. But I'm less attached to the 1989 film than I am to the animated series. So like Tim Burton's Batman movies, I acknowledge them, and I know that those are Batman films, but they don't hold the weight that the Dark Knight films do, and even fucking the shitty fucking Batman Forever and all that stuff, what's the George Clooney Batmans came out when I was
I loved them because I was a kid when they came out.
Yeah, I liked it when I was a kid.
Now it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I liked it when I was a kid, but I was like fucking dude. But just pause everything aside. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze,
fucking
just phenomenal.
Chill out.
The suit
it was so cool. Like fucking, it was like his whole shit was like a weird music video, and I fucking loved it.
It was.
Actually, Max, you'd be a great Mr. Freeze.
I think I'm tall enough.
Yeah, well, you have the head shape, you know.
And now the glass.
My head.
Yeah, but you know, like the Tim Burton's Batman films, like I don't know, they exist in this weird area where it's like, yes, it's a Batman film, but it's not as serious as the comics. Even the comics at the time clearly never topped 66, but that was its own thing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I think because Tim Burton's not a comic book guy, it didn't hold as much weight. Like as far as you know, fuck, you can't put it in like an arc. Be like, oh, this is a really serious part of the Batman history. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's
Jack
Batman.
Nicholson running around.
It's Batman pop culture.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah.
That's it. It's fun. That was a really long
And-
saying it's kind of cool.
What I did like about the movie was it had a lot of the Rogues Gallery already, and the way that they were interacting and the way that they would do a good job of that, and everyone looked the part. Falcone looked like fucking Italian mafia guy. Fucking the Penguin was believable to me as a crime lord. Catwoman too. The Riddler, man, I don't know.
I like it.
The Riddler being an internet forum incel was such a letdown. I will say that.
Weird, right? It was weird. And like the riddles, I didn't like the riddles either, dude.
I've never liked Riddlers like that. And
Did he ever say riddle me this, riddle me that?
It was kind of a bummer that like the Riddler's like big fucking like the thing that they were misleading everyone about is that the Riddler knew who Batman was, but he actually didn't. Like that was the big thing. Like, and you can see like Batman like fucking slowly realizing that that the Riddler doesn't realize that he's Bruce Wayne. He's like, oh shit, he doesn't.
I like that though. Pretty funny though. I thought he knew. I thought he really knew the whole time. It got me. I was like, oh shit, he fucking knows Bruce Wayne. This is whack. Then he's
fuck for that.
We didn't get. I was like, oh shit.
Like he was like, it's like, you know, when you fucking when you show up late and nobody notices, you know, you're just like, you thought they were gonna know, and then you just don't say anything.
I tell you what I did like about that scene. I liked it that the Riddler thought that they were in cahoots.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was a nice touch that he was like, I'm setting up the riddles, and because I haven't got the prowess, the physical prowess that you've got, you're doing this for me. And he sort of was reluctant.
That twist was cool.
I like that. I did like that.
Well, because it demonstrates some things that like we were talking about where it kind of humanizes the Riddler's delusion, where it sets his psychosis in a very real sense. Like this guy,
autistic kind of.
Yeah, this guy is autistic. He's not just like I'm a crazy motherfucker. Yeah, I'm just intelligent. Like I was a businessman and then I lost all my money and then I went crazy. Like no, this guy has I
don't know if he's like that in the comic. Is he obsessed with Bruce Wayne in the comic?
I don't know.
No,
I haven't read any fucking like in depth. Maybe somebody in the comments.
You remember
the only version of
Jim Carrey's Riddler is obsessed with Batman, isn't he? And he dresses as him. Like he dresses as Val Kilmer's Bruce Wayne in Batman Forever, and he puts like a little mole on his face and pretends.
Yeah, Batman Forever. I think the most obsession you'll see, like, to me, like the best Riddler or like rendition of the Riddler is Hush. If you watch that, if you watch the animated film and then read the graphic novel. But I think that's probably the best version of the Riddler. But I feel like
that was hinted at the beginning of the film, wasn't it?
Was that?
Well, there was definitely some influence. There was at least some influence from Hush, but then it kind of went a different direction.
It literally said Hush.
Which disappointed a lot of people again because I'm like, what? If you want to watch Hush in the film, then they should just make a movie called Hush because it's good as it is. It doesn't need to be a Batman film.
I think that would be a better movie.
If they just Hush.
Made
Not
Hush.
even.
Yeah, but Dell, Hollywood ain't going to do that, bro.
No, they're not.
Batman film over and over again.
You know who did it? DC Animated Studios, and their shit is fucking.
Oh, the animated. Yeah, the animated.
It's better than any fucking live action. I don't even give a fuck about live action.
No, I agree. They have way more creative.
It's not better. They're just telling better stories. Does that
Well,
make
they,
sense?
because the budget's so low, they haven't got executives breathing down their fucking neck.
Right.
Yeah, and there's like
Why-
the unfortunate
why didn't you
reality
make
of Hollywood
a
is that it's
live
always going to ruin movies like this for people like us. But
Not
like
me.
I think yeah, but yes, I agree with you because I still enjoyed the movie. I still walked
loved
out
it.
and I was pumped. I was like, that movie was sick, despite all its shortcomings. But that's I feel like I'm sitting in between. Like,
Are you saying you're a glass half full kind of guy, and I'm a glass half
well,
empty?
you know,
Is that what you're saying?
there were things about it that I enjoyed enough that I was still able to get something good out of it. Because I don't like. Here's another thing: I don't want to walk out of a movie theater upset because I go to the movies because I want to feel better.
I wasn't upset. Like I wasn't.
I'm not saying you were. I'm just saying like I want to walk. I want to walk out in a better mood than I walked in. That's the escapism for it.
Oh, okay.
Regardless of the fucking movie, I just want to enjoy the movie because I
think
like being in the movie theater.
No, I totally understand that. It's probably a healthy way of looking at that sort of entertainment, right?
Just
but
walking.
I suppose the way I look at it,
old man.
Yeah, well, I suppose the way I look at it is like a few films in my life where I've
This
gone
is how I walk out of movie theaters.
What, with a frozen smiley face? Oh yeah.
That's how Ben is in the movie.
I was like, that's how you walk. That's how you walk in.
It's like for me, there's not been a very few movies in my life where I've actually come out and like on a rush. I thought that
Riddle wasn't even hard, man.
That like totally turned it, or like I wasn't expecting that, or like it proper did it for me.
Yeah.
And now really like the closest way I get to that is just like analyzing the movie hardcore, and picking it apart. Like I enjoyed the movie. Like I'd recommend. I wouldn't recommend people not go and see it. It's just
telling you.
I'm just upset that it had all this potential and it just didn't.
This is how Max enjoys the movie. Like this is Max enjoying the movie in real time.
If the film was like absolute shit, I would have been up. If the film was absolute shit with a few redeeming features, I'd probably be defending it, because when something's like that, I'll look at like the hardcore potential. Like Spawn is a terrible movie, but it's got little elements of potential in it that I really enjoy. Like what's its performance as the clown? I thought he was spot on.
Oh, it's so good. I love that about that.
Yeah.
That's a really.
Why can't we make a?
Like, I haven't seen Spawn in so long, but I remember him as the clown. Like when
he's great, but the film's
previous shit, But not to derail into Spawn. But
that's
man. I enjoyed the movie, but I also agree with you that like people like us, we're always going to be a little bit let down because we have such high expectations because we love these characters. But
look,
it was a little strange to me that they would drop, like little fucking nostalgia shots like Hush or whatever into the film, but for only people who are going to understand that are comic book people, but then not to deliver on it because the people who don't understand won't fucking get it. So they got to play this weird balancing game where they have to appease to people who aren't comic book people that only see the Batman films, but then people who are comic book people.
But that's been Batman's thing since the beginning of Batman.
The thing is, though, I would like with Batman.
Yeah,
I understand what you're saying,
but that doesn't mean that it will ever stop being disappointing.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily. I don't necessarily feel like
priority when it comes to Batman IP.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, comic book readers aren't the priority when it comes to movies.
The films are
at all.
No, I don't. I'm not sure if the Batman falls into that category. I think Batman is in the movie zeitgeist and has been for like decades now. Like everyone knows who Batman is. You don't have to read a Batman comic to know who Batman is. I don't think if you make a film, you really have to consider the comic fans at all. Just make a Batman film. He's more like Robin Hood at this point.
Yes, if there's if somebody tells you they're a Batman fan and they've never read the comics, you're still a Batman fan. You don't need to fucking read the comics.
Ben, talk, because you've been trying to for ages.
Dude, I don't like reading. I like watching it on films and shit. All right, dude. Yeah,
I agree.
It's
but I have something to say.
No.
Uh-oh, he froze. We didn't even hear what he had to say.
I think my internet just went out. Can you guys hear me and see me?
No.
You're sort of frozen in a blur. No, Ben's dead.
Yeah, sorry. Well, Ben is now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Have I been hiding behind the fucking logo
Yeah,
this
you have.
entire time?
I thought you were moving in and out of it because you noticed that and you're like, oh shit.
No, I thought it was just like a fucking watermark. I didn't realize that's gonna be like this whole.
It's ironic because you.
Like fucking Max gets the Batman
It's
logo.
ironic because like you finally you finally let me talk, and then my internet takes a huge shit. And it's,
yeah,
you're not saying shit. Dude.
Damn, that's crazy. I'm just over here hiding the fucking logo.
Okay.
I don't give a shit.
Okay, are you guys seeing me now or not?
I can see. Yeah, you're just frozen.
Now am I here?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you and hear you.
I'm turning the camera. All right, so check it out. Here's what I have to say. Yeah, okay, you're right. You have to have read Batman comic books to appreciate the movie. Fair enough. But here, at the end of the day, it's like Hush is a better story than this. You have read. So, like, this is a movie that spared no expense with production, direction, really high-level actors. A very expensive movie to make, but I feel like the screenplay wasn't on the same level of quality as every other aspect of this movie. And you don't have to create a new story, dude. You don't have to write a brand new kick-ass story. Just take an existing story that rules and make it into a movie. Like, why not? And you know what? Another thing is,
nobody's ever done that.
Last point. God damn it. Let me fucking talk. Whether you've read the comic book or not, you're still gonna like the movie because it's just a good story. How you doing?
That's not
nice
true. Because a lot of
that's not true. Hey, bud, how you doing, man?
Hey, bud.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm using a new PC. This is all new to me. So
tell us why the Batman was the best Batman movie that has ever been released.
Yeah, man. Did you like it?
And when did you have that opinion?
I had a free day yesterday, so I went to see it, and I'm afraid to say I liked it. I thought I needed to even things up a bit here. I thought it was pretty damn good. But I've been remiss to come onto this live stream so far because this looks too heated for me.
Hated.
Oh no, we were like rubbing our hands together, like, oh, this is gonna be spicy, bro. I can't wait for this.
Oh really?
Yeah. We knew Max hated it before we came in.
This dude, can I just this dude here, we've lived together for years. And he's
was that why you have the same haircut?
Yeah.
Dude,
mate, were you scared to come on? I thought you were gonna get
dude, from a pure standpoint.
Well, I mean, after what you said about Bond, you know.
We'll settle this. We'll get our babies to fight.
Yes.
So what did you
infant combat,
Big Buddha? So what did you agree? Like the Batman films are kind of like the Bond films, where it's like the Bond films are almost like they're the same thing. It's just a different person playing the Bond, and they all have their like. This is gonna be a more grittier Bond. This is gonna be a more gentleman-like Bond. This is gonna be a less violent Bond, more gadgety Bond.
This is gonna be circus Bond.
This is gonna be more Playboy Bond. Like the story's the same. It's just they got a little different. Like
I mean, Batman as a movie franchise has been going for 33 years now. I mean, in that respect, if you imagine it in Bond terms, we're into like the Pierce Brosnan era by now. You know, Patterson is the Pierce Brosnan of Bond. So
I agree.
It's only going to lapse into formula at this point. You know, so. Yeah, I mean, if you can play Max, I get it. You know, we've seen the destruction of Gotham 2 or 3 times already. You know, it's lapsing into that formula now. But I mean, what else are they going to do? You know, it's now there's such a big movie audience for Batman now that they've got to hit these beats.
Yes.
On the whole, see, to me, you guys were complaining that it didn't feel enough like 7 to you. And to me, it felt just enough like Seven that especially the opening scene. Like I genuinely did find the Riddler's first murder like quite creepy when he got bludgeoned over the head. At that point I sort of had to sit back and go, "Whoa, this was PG-13 in America." Now, admittedly, there was nothing in the rest of the film that really I thought was as visceral as that opening scene. But it was just enough like Seven. At the end of the day, what I wanted was a Batman movie with hints of Seven. I didn't want Seven with just with the artifice of a Batman movie. You know what I mean? Because I think, although as much as I like the Joker, one of the complaints you could have with that film is that it tries a little too much to be Taxi Driver. Like, is that all movies are now? That we're just going to remake these movies from the past and call them comic book movies?
Yeah,
with these other movies as a jumping off point.
Yeah, but it's all just it's the same form of nostalgia. You either introduce an older element and make it, or you just keep it the same element, like you said. So if they stick to their guns, they're still making a film that's 30 years old because it's Batman.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is lower the budget, do a Dread, and do something different, get more freedom.
Make it darker and grittier.
Like the one of the highest rating movie franchises of all time is Saw, and the reason why it's one of the highest earning movie franchises is because the films cost so little to make that when they were released every Halloween, they would be like a box office smash, but they'd be made for a fraction of the price.
So you want like a
10 in 10 years.
Batman?
No, I don't. I just think if you don't have, in my opinion, like my issue with the Gotham exploding at the end is that it's not necessarily. I mean, I am bored to fuck with it, but I think the executives in Hollywood think that's what audiences want, and I'm not sure that they do. I just think they want a good film. I think there's plenty. Like, I think if they sat down and had like a film that had more creative freedom with the writing. And got stuck into the mystery of the Riddler even more. Like, I could have happily had a much quieter film that was more intriguing. That I think I would have found.
I totally agree with you right there. I think probably I would have liked better. Like, I still like the film, but I probably would have enjoyed better without all of the Riddler is actually a domestic terrorist.
Yeah,
plot. If he was just a serial killer.
Yeah.
If he was just committing like really grisly murders across Gotham and they didn't know who the fuck he was or who he was going to get, like the line of victims was super predictable. Like, they figured like, oh, this is the line of victims. Like, fucking, if it was like a little shakier, like a little like who's going to get murdered next. And it was like, oh, we just stumbled upon this really fucking grisly, brutal fucking murder. And it really like just solidified the Riddler as an evil character. I probably would have liked that a little bit better than
and I suppose like you've just articulated it better than I have for the whole show. I think that's what I was looking for the film to be, and especially seeing Patterson's bat outfit, I was like, okay, I aesthetically for me, I wasn't as keen on it as the other ones, but it's got that homemade feel for it. And maybe that's indicative of the way that we're going budget-wise. And if that's the case, maybe that will mean that the creators have more freedom with the creativity. But unfortunately, that didn't seem like it was the case.
One very clever thing that this movie did do well was to justify the sort of ethos of Batman not killing people. Because like there was the sort of exposure that his father was corrupt and that his father was like playing tit for tat with organized crime a little bit, and then there was also the Riddler representing the sort of vengeful spirit of thinking like the only way to deal with this corruption is to just kill all of these rats, kill all these motherfuckers, which is actually correct. in real life, that's what you would have to do. Sorry, not sorry. But it sort of does justify Batman coming to the conclusion that he does of like, okay, well, I am going to fight crime, but I'm not going to be like this Riddler psycho and just kill all these people. First of all, because that's not how I want to do it, and second of all, because then I'd be making what he would consider a mistake. I don't think it's a mistake. I think killing bad people is a good thing to do. But Batman's reasoning, Batman's rationale is like, right, my father got like seduced into being corrupt, into playing the game as it were. I'm going to learn from my father's mistake and not do that.
Yeah, that makes sense? Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And like as far as comparing the Riddler and Batman, like this is another thing. Like the more things that I think about that were good, the more annoyed I get that it wasn't the necessary payoff, in my opinion. Like the parallel at the beginning of the movie where Batman goes back into the Batcave or wherever his hideout is at the mansion. And every night he says he forces himself to remember and make a diary of all the things that have happened. And then later on, they find the Riddler's hideout, and he's been making diaries. And there's this parallel between the two of them that they're both going out. They both are pretty much psychopathic in the things that they do. They both record their actions, and they're both motivated by vengeance. And they're like
and they're both autistic.
And they're both autistic, yeah. Although I was confused why they kept calling him Mr. Vengeance, and he didn't actually refer to himself as that to anyone that called him Vengeance. He only said it to the guys at the beginning. And Catwoman kept calling him Vengeance.
That's just a continuity thing. But like, are they gonna have him repeat that like 7 times? Like, you know what I mean?
Instead of him calling Vengeance.
I'm Vengeance.
I'm Vengeance.
I think those like for me like those,
Batman
like,
at a cocktail party.
I'm Vengeance.
Like Big Buddha, I'm a huge fan of the Bond films, and to me, it's like you're getting another Bond film. I'm a huge fan of the Mission Impossible films as well, and it's the same thing. You're getting another Tom Cruise movie, big bad. And guess what? Things are gonna blow up. Like it's the same formula, and I think that if you I don't know. One thing you're gonna talk about was like
in a franchise.
It's a movie franchise. And although, like, I agree, Max. I agree that it would a film going in the direction that you would like it to go would definitely be probably the best Batman film of all time. But like at the same time, I'm not gonna hold my breath waiting for that. I'm going to go watch the Bond film, like I'm gonna go watch the Batman film.
But like Casino Royale was like that's one of my favorite ones, and
another Bond film.
Sorry,
yeah. That's another Bond film.
Yeah, I know, but it diverts more than any other Bond film from the formula. It's got way less explosions.
It still hits the beats, you know. It still has the.
I'm not complaining about it hitting the beats. I'm complaining about the end scene being just crowbarred in out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, I guess also. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say everything after the Riddler's arrest did feel tacked on. I think the final half an hour is definitely the most issues I had with it, but there was still stuff in there that I liked. You know, I think they obviously it was a studio edict that come on, we've got to have the stadium being destroyed by the bad guys at the end, and you know I thought when he got the flare. He was saving everyone. I thought this is cool. You know? So I was enjoying myself, even though when it looked like the story was going in that direction, I was kind of worrying, thinking, "Oh no, come on, you've had me so far. Don't blow it at the
So I'll mention something where like Big Buddha said, this is the one like gripe I have with the whole movie. First, I'm gonna say the one thing I really like though, but is like. You were talking about how Casino Royale kind of deviated a little off of some formulas, but still a Bond film. That's why I feel like this Batman was like, I absolutely can't stand the whole Playboy side of Batman and how like every time we watch even the Christopher Nolan films is like, yeah, Batman's already got this whole Playboy thing figured out and he's acting like it right off the cuff. And I like the more recluse Batman. I like the fact that Batman and Bruce are still the same because it's like he's got to figure out how to learn that to come out into the public and start being that He's like his dad got like shot and shit, and his mom. I'm glad they didn't show that part in the pros.
So
and shit,
that's
but it's like,
interesting then. So
it's like, I'm tired of seeing. So the fact that I saw this guy like, yo, like he doesn't know how to fucking flip the switch yet, and he's still learning to be Batman. And I think that's what this film is doing. Is like this dude looks like he fucking gone like surplus store, you know, and then picked a whole bunch of tactical shit.
Didn't they do that in Batman Begins though, where he becomes a recluse and then pisses off and travels the world forever, and then he comes back and figures out how to pretend to be a playboy?
Well, yeah, he comes back and he's like a playboy off the cuff though, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but
like,
but before that, he's like the recluse, isn't he? Because he goes to Tibet and hides.
Yeah, but
But he's back. When he's on Gotham City operating as Batman, he has this like alter ego Bruce Wayne, right?
Yeah,
and that was missing from this movie.
Yeah,
it's calculated in Batman Begins though, because he has to show that.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I don't know. For me, in Batman Begins, it almost feels like forced unless you have this like journey. And the thing is, like, that's cool that he has that journey, but like, I kind of like Batman just hanging out in Gotham the whole time. He doesn't go in this like I travel the world to find myself, and then I read Ra's al Ghul and I become like, you know, it's more like, nah, dude, this guy didn't get, you know, trained by fucking Ra's al Ghul, and you know, I like this Batman because of that, and I didn't get to see. I've always hated the Bruce Wayne Playboy, even in some of the animated films where they kind of like got him already in that character. I'm like, oh, fuck, we've come to this, and I almost can't stand. I like Harvey, the Two-Face Harvey, when he's like up against like Batman, like, yeah, fuck Bruce Wayne, dude. This guy's like the White Knight. I was like, yeah, like fuck Bruce Wayne.
I always felt like he was supposed to be an asshole. You know, he's deliberately playing someone who's an asshole.
Even though I love the Bruce Wayne of the Dark Knight series, it's just I can't. He doesn't sell to me an asshole. He's one of those guys like it's hard to see him as an asshole unless you hear his actual accent. Then like you're like, yeah, he could definitely be an asshole. But yeah, but then
on the set of Terminator.
What I did hate though, Big Buddha mentioned it though. I thought the flare scene was cool. What I couldn't stand and what like fucked it up for me, like what just took me out of the moment, is where that slow-mo where he takes his batarang and just like cuts it, and it's like slow as fuck, and he just falls into the water. And like,
like fucking like cliffhanger.
I was like, is he gonna die? Because they slowed the fuck out of this scene. They're making this so like the Mufasa falling into the fucking wildebeest, and then he lands the water and he comes back out and he's like, like, well, that was pretty high. And then he just goes in there and gets. I thought the flare scene was cool. It brought me back into the movie and liking it, but it was just weird, that scene. I felt like they were like, it would be cool if Batman does like sacrifices himself, but really it's not sacrifices.
Sacrifices himself into like 10 foot of water.
I thought he was gonna get electrocuted and get like shocked.
There is shade to the end of Alien 3.
I mean, realistically, that wouldn't have happened anyway because he was insulated. He was wearing a whole rubber suit.
Yeah.
He was.
That seems kind of weird for me. Like it was just
insulated.
Hey man, I used to work as an electrician's apprentice. Give me a break. But fucking like touching on the fucking like the points about like the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman in this movie. Like I think that those like Max, you're right. There is no difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman, but that's acknowledged in the film. That's the reason why I'm giving it the excuse, because Alfred, I know, but Alfred comes up and he's like, "Yo, are you gonna be Bruce Wayne today? What the fuck is your problem?"
Yeah, I like that scene. I like that scene a lot because it was self-aware.
Yeah, it was self-aware. And there's a couple scenes where Alfred calls out Bruce Wayne. Where like fucking he's like, "Where the fuck are your cufflinks, guy?" He's like, "I've lost him." He's like, "Take mine." He's like, "Oh, what do you think you're Wayne?" He's like, "Well, your fucking dad gave them to me."
He's like, "Oh shit, my bad."
He's like,
"Yeah, I love and see the thing." Like, so JC, he didn't really like this Alfred, but I did, because it's like I feel like Alfred is the one that's gonna help him develop.
I really like this Alfred because he was like, "Bruce, you're full of shit, dude. Like, what the fuck is your problem?" He's like,
and like a lot of people are comparing him to Michael Caine. And like that's not fair, because Michael Caine's Michael Caine and Michael Caine rules, right? But like we're not always going to have exactly the same.
What is the point of all those press ups if you can't lift a bloody log?
Exactly. Alfred's there to keep Bruce
right, having him in the room,
and he's there. He's there to maintain the balance between the life of Batman and the life of Bruce Wayne. Yeah. But
see, that scene that Nick
going to have him learn that alter ego shit.
That scene that Nick pointed out, where I was just gonna say, where Alfred says, like, "Are you gonna actually be Bruce Wayne today?" I'm really hoping that there's a payoff of that in the subsequent movie, where he has to figure out his Bruce Wayne persona.
Right now, basically, I have the same opinion about about the Batman, like, because this is obviously going to be at least a 3-film series. My opinion is the same as when the first of the fucking Star Wars sequels came out, where I made up a bunch of shit in my head that filled in the gaps. That I was like, okay, if they do these things, that shit will make sense, and then these will be good movies. Like, this next 2 movies will make this one better because the following movies will have filled in all these things. It's
like Spider-Man, Tom Holland, dude.
But they can still fuck it up if they don't Star Wars the shit out of it. This will be a fucking great movie.
Don't say that. This isn't Disney.
I'm looking at Max right now, dude.
So I think this was the best scene in the movie.
Yeah.
Batman, to me, this film was more menacing than the other Batmans.
I like him up. I like the way he looks upside down walking.
Talked about Colin Farrell's makeup.
Dude, that was so good.
He was unrecognizable, right?
It was like they'd gone back to 1987, got Robert De Niro from The Untouchables, brought him forward. They must have looked at De Niro as inspiration for that makeup, because it was just like him.
His acting was insane.
I'm up for a sequel, a Penguin-centric sequel now.
Apparently, they're doing a spin-off series with the Penguin.
With Colin Farrell.
What, TV series?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope it's just like basically The Sopranos in Gotham City.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
That would be cool.
100%. Yeah, I'm there.
Like, listen, we got to avoid this Batman situation.
Dude, I love that. I love this version of fucking Penguin. It's like my favorite so far, just because he's an actual mobster, dude.
100%.
Well, I mean, you know that he's going to have a continuing role in the next films because of the way the Falcone gets taken out, and he's like, "Oh, you're a big man, huh?" He's like, "Maybe I am."
Yeah.
Fucking.
Me too. I didn't do. Oh my god! Like,
fucking.
Trying to blame him for shooting.
Does he also
that
have East Coast accents?
What's that, Buddha?
I was just asking a very boring question about accents. Ben, you know, are those East Coast accents?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very New York. Yeah, it's very New York accent. Forget about it.
Yeah, specifically New York.
New England,
mobster all the way. And then people.
I mean, it's derivative, of course, but yeah.
Like specifically, the way that Italian New York
is a lot more accurate than the way I'm doing it.
Yeah,
but yeah.
There seems to be sort of shades of The Godfather in there, and with their approach to.
I think it'd be really good if during one of the scenes in Batman, he reached up and scratched his chin like this.
Robert Patterson's chin, he's got like.
No, I think it would be cool if he was like smoking a cigarette that way.
Yeah, it's how they've done the bat helmet, like down the side of his head. Like there's material coming down the side of his head, which accentuates his jawline.
But it's a massive jaw, and it just if they wanted to find the Batman, just look for the guy.
He's
with
a
the
handsome boy.
Jaw. He does, but I'll tell you, those.
There's only one.
What you guys think about like, the voice? I like the fact that they didn't have that voice. Like he just changed.
I like that. Yeah.
He changed.
Listen, man. My favorite Batman is Affleck. I like Affleck.
Yeah.
I like the films they were in are the shittest.
No, I love Ben Affleck as Batman.
As the Batman, I think he looks the part. Like
dude,
they do the thing with the electronic voice, so he sounds proper cool.
I don't think Robert Patterson is going to be anyone's favorite Batman. Yeah, when people look back on this era.
Yeah, of course.
Max, dude, you know what I want, bro? I want you to do a fucking morning dump segment where you play as Batman and you're just shitting on Metropolis. Like, look at this fucking thing. Look at this garbage. Look at this town. It's absolute trash. Look at this guy fly around in a suit.
They promised so much and delivered so little.
Fucking Metropolis sucks dick. Gotham forever.
Why is everyone so happy?
I'm vengeance.
They don't even have vengeance in Metropolis.
I'm sure we can sort that out.
Fucking morning shows. Fuck you, Metropolis. You're garbage.
So where does all these Batman and Jokers fit in together, man? There's a lot.
But I will say that as obviously like repetitive as it's getting to having like Jokers on screen, especially considering like the series Gotham that came out, which I really fucking liked. I think they did their Joker pretty cool, considering like their budgetary restrictions. But I will say that the small little snippet of like the visual of the Joker that you got at the end of the fucking movie, I thought was fucking cool. Yeah. Like whether you wanted him to be in the movie or not, like I like just that quick little snip scene. I was like, he looks pretty badass.
Reeves also said that wasn't the intent. He's not bringing Joker to like to the films. Like he said that he just wanted to where it was like at every corner there's a whole bunch of like hints and Easter eggs of other villains that live there. Because I wanted everybody to know that like the villains live there already, not like where the other films where it's like the Joker shows up all of a sudden. We got a car and it's like, oh, where the fuck did this guy come from? But it's kind of like, no, they're always in there. Like Gotham's so fucked up. These guys have been living and dwelling in here. So it was like at every turn you notice there was a lot of Easter eggs and nods to like a lot of the other villains. And they're one of those things where they're kind of in there, but they're not. They haven't Batman hasn't dealt with them yet. So what he did with the Joker is what he wanted to make it seem like. It's like, yeah, originally it was supposed to be in the middle of the film, but then he was like, nah, because like, you know, that's not what I want to do here. I want them like concentrate on the Riddler, but I want them to know that Riddler's not the only villain now. And then he gets stopped, and then another villain steps up. It's like, no, they're all already doing this.
That's the thing about Batman. There's a whole plethora of great characters that you could base any number of movies on. I don't know why I mean, I understand why they keep sourcing the originals because everyone knows them, but
but my worry is that we're just going to get a bunch of sequels with the same old villains.
What you mean, like Bond?
Every time
they're all the same fucking dude. They've all got a scar on the face or an iron hand, and they all want to destroy the world.
I want to ask all three of you a question.
Well, yeah, but I understand that there's like what Nolan did with his trilogy. He went for some less obvious villains like Ra's al Ghul and Bane.
Yeah,
everyone was saying after The Dark Knight, oh, it's going to be Johnny Depp as the Riddler. And it's like, no, it's not, because that's too obvious. It's going to be somebody you wouldn't expect. And sure, okay, he had Catwoman in there
with that in mind.
Mandate, but he had Bane, which no one was expecting.
Sorry, buddy. No, that's my fault. I want to ask everybody a question, starting with Buddha. With that in mind, what villain would you like to see in the next Batman movie?
Well, with that, you're gonna expect me to say someone the original.
No, I don't give a shit who it is. If you want it to be the Joker, say the Joker. I don't care. I just want to know what you think.
I don't care about it. I would agree with you on that point. There's too many Jokers, and when that scene came at the end, I was like, oh, seriously, please. So I'd happily wait a film or two for another Joker-centric film. I'd like to see Two-Face.
Yeah.
Because Two-Face was... I don't think Two-Face has been done properly on film.
I agree.
From the comics. I liked what Nolan did with Aaron Eckhart, but it wasn't... That was his reinterpretation of the Two-Face character. I like to see the proper Two-Face character scarred by the acid and becoming a crime boss. Yeah.
That's half crime boss, half political.
Yeah. The duality. I want the coin. I want everything.
I'd probably go with that one as well. Or Zaz. I like Zaz, the serial killer. He kills people and then cuts the like a little mark on his face of all the people that he's killed.
He's my favorite
he's the electricity guy
in the video game.
Nah, he's just a serial killer.
Yeah, he's my favorite in the video games.
He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit about Gotham.
I get him mixed up with the guy that can turn himself into electricity. Anyone know? He's in the Arkham game. Yeah.
Isn't that Spider-Man?
No, there's a Batman villain that does it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of Gremlins too?
No. Easily confused.
I'm sure there's a guy that can send himself down the electricity lines.
I'm just talking about chicken nuggets.
What about you, Max?
Yeah, Zaz.
Oh, you said Zaz. Yeah.
Zaz or Two-Face like Buddha.
Dude, I want to see Man Bat, dude.
Yeah, Man Bat would be cool.
That would be freaking sick, dude. Batman versus Man Bat, like freaking. I think that would be pretty fucking sick. That was like episode number 1 of the animated series, and I remember as a kid watching that, I was like, this is kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
Like, and I watched it when I was older, and I'm not letting my 4-year-old watch the animated series until he's just a little bit older, because that should definitely give you nightmares. But I think if you want to go like
beating it to death at the end,
dude, it's just when it transforms, it's like dude, these series are dark. Animated series probably one of the best, but yeah, I think the animated series itself has so many villains that it's introduced that you can do so much with it. There's I think we could all agree that what made DC top was the villains, and it's most of these villains are the best ones are all in the Batman IP, almost all of them. And the one thing that Marvel lacked in was creating villains that like give you that I'm scared of this villain versus like, okay, it's just a powerful villain that we got to beat. Like for as far as, like I said, like I didn't really read Marvel comics like that. I was more into the movies. I love some of the animated series like X-Men. I didn't watch too much of X-Men, but I loved watching it as a kid just to like follow along. But what Marvel was really good at was like the superheroes, made them kind of like a little light campy, but they were really good campy ones and had good personalities. But the villains sucked to me, in my opinion. Like the Avengers films like did a good job in making them cooler and bigger and badder, powerful. But I think Marvel villains are on that power level, while like the DC villains are more on this like chess, very intelligent, like creepy, like almost scary, like you need to disturbing. They're disturbing. You're disturbing. That's what I like about. That's why everybody
in this movie were done really well.
Yeah, they're all disturbing characters. Even like Penguin, who's like supposed to be like he's not scary, but you're like, dude, that's a grimy motherfucker, dude. That's somebody that can get you in fucking trouble. He's a fucking snake and like with power. So it's like those guys are dangerous.
Yeah,
the villains were done well in the Batman, and one of my trepidations about going into the film was the 3-villain thing, because that's usually a big downfall. You look at Spider-Man 3. It's you tend to end up with like 3 separate storylines going on, and nothing really connects. And I thought that they did it quite well with. Well, it's more than 3 villains, wasn't it? Because you had in there.
They didn't really care. They didn't really care about the origins of the villains, which is what I liked about the film, or the origins for anybody. It's like, dude, we're not going to tell you where Penguin came from. No, just he's in the fucking movie because this is Gotham, and he's obviously a prominent character in this.
You had the Riddler, who's the one main villain, and then but in there you had the Penguin off as a side character, Catwoman off as a side character.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Riddler probably touched a little.
But it made sense. It made sense how they were all interacting with each other, and they didn't overly focus on anyone's origin.
I think we should have the Scarecrow in on the next
gentlemen,
one.
we should wrap. Yeah, we should wrap this up because my internet's liable to go out again, and if my internet's down, and then the stream just keeps going, because I'm pretty sure it'll only end when I end the broadcast. So
yeah, for sure.
Unless you have something else. I think we should wrap up. So if there's anything
can I just do a very quick plug? I'm going to have a new video up on Monday, my first in about 2.5 months.
Yes, you can.
Review of one of my favorite films, The Clockwork Orange. So feel free to check that out.
Well, Joe.
Very cool.
That was it.
All right, dudes.
And yeah, we're sorry that the Rokon book is late. But we're working on it, and we're getting closer. We're making digital NFTs of the original artwork. So that's
Much
something.
better
That's
than
what I've been working on lately.
analog
So
NFTs.
those exactly better than analog. No, because Nick, because an NFT can be something physical.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck! I'm stupid. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
sure. Because because if
No, no.
well,
I
I'm
didn't.
yeah, because like okay, the first editions of the book of the physical book, those are also NFTs because they're all going to be hand numbered and hand signed by me. That makes them impossible to duplicate, and that makes them one of a kind. That makes them non-fungible. So yeah, collector items and also unique collector and impossible to duplicate is what makes something non-fungible. So that doesn't necessarily have to be digital, but we're also doing digital. So yeah, there'll be some updates on the Rokon Indiegogo soon with that, and obviously the art of the quality that we're making takes a little bit of time. So fucking keep your panties on, all right?
No.
Bye.
Bye.
As we've just seen, drugs make your problems go away. So make it the best day possible. Remember, it's drugs that counts. Take one and take a chance.
Saturday morning cartoons, mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.